Yeah, yeah, yeah. Welcome, welcome. The dude of shaving. Woo, you're the first one. That's awesome. Let me see while we wait for other people. Let me see if I can put the comments here. Live chat. All messages are Bevel. Some messages such as. Yeah. Yeah. All right. Can you guys hear me? Type in there if you can hear me. I want to be able to see the messages. Let's wait a little bit for some more people to see if we can get any more people in here. Thank you for stopping by, man. I just wanted to hang out, get some people to do some honing with me. Hope everybody is doing good. And I am so grateful that we can do these live events. I'm trying not to take too long, but I just wanted first off to give a shout out to I am CDB. Spell out all together. I am CDB. Check out if you have not seen his YouTube channel. Check it out. Check it out. He does a lot of reviews. I am CDB does great soap reviews and shave reviews, and he doesn't hold back, man. So I like his videos. They're honest. If somebody sends him an edge that is not that good, he will just say it, right? So that's the only way we can get better at getting honest feedback. And I really appreciate his help and his push to get 1,000 subscribers. For those that don't know, I cannot do live content unless I have 1,000 subscribers. So that's why we're doing this, because of the help. And for all you that have subscribed to my channel. Now, I have sent the last live video. We sent a razor. We honed a razor. We gave away a razor. I sent that home to the lucky winner. He has not emailed me back. I don't know if he liked it or not. If you're live, if you're watching this, hey bro, let me know. Did you like it? Hey Hook, how's it going, man? Thanks, I appreciate it. Um, so yeah, man, that razor I send it, that Kamisori I send it, and I haven't got anything back. So hopefully he received it. I got the the confirmation that he did. So this Corona probably has everybody super busy. So what are we doing today? We are setting a bevel. I want you guys, as much as possible, if you can, just let me know what you want to know about setting a bevel. So first off, I'm just cleaning some stones here while people get here, but we're gonna be using a 1,000. Oh, there it is. Now there it is. 1,000 Chaucera stone, and that's what we're going to be using to set the bevel. But I use several different stones, and I have several videos on setting the bevel. And I have here, for instance, an example, a king. This is one that's, it's a small one. This one was like 10 bucks. Look, 10 bucks at a Japanese store. And this is an 800 grit. 800 grit, really good, super easy to hone with. Hey man, so I use a DMT 325 for answering that question over there. DMT 325. This is the, I think the model is the coarse. This is not an actual lapping stone. DMT has a lapping stone that costs like $250. Do not buy that. Buy the DC8. I think it's Delta Charlie 8. It's the 8-inch course, and it's a 325 diamond plate. And I use the same for my J-nuts. I raise the slurry with this. This has been with me for years. I think almost 5 years. since before I started YouTubing. So I use it. It is pretty smooth to the touch, but it will still raise a slurry. Let me show you. So right now, I don't think this DMT is at 325 anymore, but see, I lap. I do everything with that. Atomas 400 are really popular. You can use those as well, but I use the DMT 325. So another stone that I use to set the bevel, I usually set the bevel on the Trocera 1000. Kings 1000 work perfectly. I have another video on bevel setters on a budget. The Naniwa Traditional is a great bevel setter. The only downside to it for some people is that you have to. Well, Omar Rodriguez, do you always set the bevel on 1K? Nope. Nope. I do not always set it on a 1K. Usually do. Usually a 1K of some sort. So like I was saying, the Naniwa Traditional 1K, the only downfall is that you have to submerge it for about 15 minutes before you use it. So you have to soak it. That's the only issue that it has. Everything else is fantastic and it's super cheap compared to the Trocera, right? This one right here, I'm going to be using. This one is the Chapton Blue Blackberry Rough, and I think this is a 325, 350, and actually going to start with this one today. And I probably want to put it on top of here so you guys can see maybe a little bit better. No? Alright. So why am I starting with this one, right? So the question came up, do you always start with a 1K? I don't always start with a 1K. It depends on the edge. If I am correcting something, like I'm about to do, I start on a 325. Can you set up the bevel on a 325? Yes, you can. Can you set up the bevel on 400 and 800? Yes, you can. The important part is that you follow through with the appropriate stone afterwards. And what I mean by that is you can't just go from this one, from a 325 to a 4K and expect amazing results, right? I'm making a mess here, but let's rinse this off. Just put this away. All right, so here we go. So we have the Chapton. And why am I using this one? So I'm gonna be, let me see if you guys can see it. The edge on this Puma right around this area. Let's see. Ah, man. You can see it. Maybe in this side. There you go. This side. It basically is right in this area in the front. It has a little dent right there, maybe. It has a little dent. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do 600, 1,000, 5,000, 12,000 just to start honing. Yep, this is good setup, man. It's very good setup. If you use a very low grit stone, do not overdo it. These stones will have they will destroy some metal. They're designed to just eat metal. So the only reason I am going to be using this right now, that I am actually using it, is because I want to take care of that dent. And I have used my DMT 325 also, and it works really good. But if you can hear it, I'll shut up for a little bit. This is taking quite a bit of metal. And you can see with your bare eyes the results of that, right? So pro tip, if you don't know, if you don't already do it, I take a towel and I put it here, and then it's always there. I grab it, boom, dry, continue, right? So let's take this out of the way. I don't need it anymore. right? So the only thing I did there was making sure that I took away that little dent. And let's see. I'm going to try to move my thumb up. If this razor was, the bevel wasn't set, it will do this. So this is a gold dollar. Look at the difference now. Get the finger wet, the thumb. I'm gonna go up with my thumb. See the difference? I have a whole video on how to do this and how it feels. Check out the playlist on how-tos. But this razor has I can shave my arms with it already from a 325. Is knife sharp, I would call it, right? So on the 1K, I'm just gonna do some circles. I usually do some circles depending on what I'm doing. Back and forth, and then I do some half strokes, right? But what am I doing right now? I'm cleaning those serrations from the very super low grit stone. I mean, there's lower grit stones, but do I have to go so aggressive? No. A 1000 stone will have taken, this Chaucera 1K will have taken care of those of that dent quite easily. It will just take a little bit more time, and you know, right now I'm on your time. So check out, let's see if you guys can see it. See the slurry on top of it? That's a very good indication. If you get slurry coming over the razor on the 1K, that's a very good indication that you are either their bevel is set or you're close to setting it, right? So right now on this razor, this particular razor, we should be good, man, because it was already set on the blue one, right? So I'm gonna take this, I'm gonna rinse it off. I'm gonna check the edge, and now I know already that the bevel is set. Let's make sure. It's just biting, right? Because I did that, I'm gonna give it a couple more passes. Believe it or not, I am super finicky with my edges. Yes, super fast, man. That Chapton is a beast. Doesn't help. It helps a lot with this Puma being already lined up and everything, right? It will not work the same way if a razor is not lined up and everything. This one, it was shave ready at some point. So now, right now, I am just looking and making sure that the big deep serrations are not there anymore, and I can look at it through my eyes, and they're not, right? So that's the bevel set on that. From here, I will just take it to the 4K and then continue the progression, if that is the progression that I'm going with, right? Now, this, let's say you do not want to spend the money on a Chaucera 1000 and you have a King. Sorry about that. So let's take that one gold dollar that I just did that 3 times now on it, right? Will you do that? Have you seen a YouTuber do that? All right, so I took a risk there. What if it'll cut me? I'm live. I cannot edit that. Shit. All right. So I like to raise the slurry. The Kings are really what we call muddy. When you raise the slurry on them, it looks like mud and it's thick, And then I'm just gonna go at it on this one. I'm just gonna do some circles. I count like how many seconds I am doing circles. It's a little hard with this one, but if you're counting, you know, 1, 2, you know, back and forth, you also want to count if you're doing circles. Good idea to just go in circles in one direction and then the other one. No, this stone is just a King 800. It's a King 800. The Chaucera does bring a rubbing stone, but this one is not it. You know, I have never used that stone. A lot of people, you're supposed to use it for cleaning your stone, but I don't because I use my DMT. But I use this one sometimes if I am honing a lot of razors and I'm setting the bevel. I like holding my stones in my hand, even my Chaucera. But if I'm honing a lot, it's pretty heavy. So you can do some half strokes like these, and it helps you set up that bevel really, really quick. Let's see. Check this out. See a slurry on top? It's all in the blade. Let's get this a little wet. All right. Let's check it out. Let's see. Right there. I still need some. And you know why? Because it has a little bit of a smiley face. And that is the fantastic thing about doing the test with your finger. Because now I know that my tip is not touching as much. It's getting there. It's grabbing, but it's not as much. So what do I do now? This is a gold dollar. I'm not going to reprofile it. I don't care. All I'm going to do is, as I'm going to make sure that I'm going. You see that? I am not lifting it like that, because if not, I'm going to destroy the geometry on it. But I'm making sure that it is touching. So I am lifting just a little bit like that. And that's what sometimes you have to do with smiley faces. You have to go in this motion as you're going forward and back, right? But you see how fast this was completely dull. And I'm just gonna do a couple more and we should be good to roll on this one razor. Now pressure. How much pressure do I use? So there was an old school theory, not old school, but there's an old way technique that is quite popular, that you hone with different pressures. You care about the edge being same width, the way you have to some tolerance. Yes, I do like the edge to be the same width throughout. So if you see, this is a super cheap razor. Good thing is that I have used this to practice a lot. If you see the spine on this, it is almost the exact same width the entire time, right? So what I did with a gold dollar is you chop the heel. I took a Dremel to it and I chopped the heel. That way I don't have to do this odd thing. Have you seen this where people are honing like this, like that, and like that? So when you do that, if I would have done with this, it wouldn't last me half of the lifetime, because at some point this whole spine, this 1 inch at the beginning will not have any wear at all. It will be completely off geometry. So that I do care. I want to make sure that it's as close as possible, and that the bevel is the same width across. What I don't care is if it has a smiley face or straight. If it has a little bit of smiley face, I'll just do it. If it has a frown, that's a problem. I don't like the frown. That is a problem. That it takes a little bit to fix. Some can be fixed, some cannot. So going back, so the school of thought was that you can apply a ton of pressure on the stone and then just go at it, back and forth with pressure, then with medium pressure, and then with less pressure. The problem with that is that will work with razors that are wedges. It will work. The problem is when you have a razor such as this one. Look how thin that grind is. If I apply a lot of pressure on this, I'm gonna bend. I'm gonna warp it. Like, I actually can probably do it. Let me see, make sure I don't cut myself live. I hope you guys can see it, but I'm actually bending it. It's bending. So what happens if you apply too much pressure? I'm gonna do it the cheap one. If I apply too much pressure, now when I'm honing, I'm creating that bevel is getting wider, higher and higher on the blade, and then less pressure, I'm going back, and then it just looks like shit. Sorry, but it does. When you're doing feather weight passes, all you're gonna be hitting is that edge, but you're gonna have this ugly. It just doesn't look right. Right? Do not do that. My recommendation is, before you start playing with pressures, use the same pressure across. When you set in the bevel with the 4K, 3K, 5K, 6K, 12K, whatever, same pressure. I said this before. If you follow me before, you heard me saying this. It's like playing golf. You don't change your swing, you change your iron or your wood, whatever, but you don't change your swing. You swing different when you are on your first hit, right? But normally the swing stays the same. The tool, the club, is what takes you the distance, right? You use a 7 for a certain amount of distance, a 5, etc. The same with a stone. Let the stone do its job. Do not apply more pressure than you have to. Just enough for you to touch. Just that. That's all the pressure you need, right? If you're applying more, you're going too far. Now, I have done it with pressure, and it's a good question. How would I fix a frown? I'll explain in a second. I have applied extra pressure, and I do it with the J-knot sometimes, but it's just a little bit more pressure. But until you get there, just do the same pressure. So frowns are hard to fix. Let me see if I have a frown here. Oh, I don't have a frown here. So frowns. When you have a frown, what it means is that it has that, right? It's a concave edge. Well, would that be concave edge? Well, whatever. It's not straight, and it's not a smiley. But when you look at the spine, usually the spine is a lot more worn in the center, and on the sides it's not as much. Let me see if I have a razor here. But that's basically what's happening. Man, that was a great question. So what happens is, like, somebody has applied a lot of pressure, maybe like so, making it where the center is cutting more than the sides. And that, or sometimes these stabilizers go all the way to the bottom of the razor, and there will be a moment that you can't hone anymore on it, right? So, like, let's say this one, no stabilizer, It is thicker here. This one doesn't have a stabilizer either, right? But there are some that have a stabilizer that won't let you hone, just like these when the gold dollars when they come. So what happens is this a lot thicker down here. So when you're honing, you're actually taking more metal from the center. That's an issue. So if you have a razor that you wanna, it has a slight frown, the thing that I recommend is to tape the edge. So you tape the edge on both sides, 3M. Then once you tape the edge, you put it on the stone on a very low grit, and then you go back and forth, right? What you're doing is you are basically, you don't want to take pressure, you don't want to put pressure on it, you just want to make sure that this whole spine is the same. Once you got this the same, you take the tape out and you go at it, it will equalize. That happens in, I will say, about 25-30% of the frowns that you could save. A lot of the frowns are way gone, and they cannot be saved, but a lot of it is that stabilizer. Once they have been honed too much, then what happens is you start seeing a belly here. I mean, I'm exaggerating. You start seeing a little belly, and then that's what happened, right? Same thing when you are applying too much pressure that way, then you get a lot of hone wear towards the end, and in the front. And what happens is it starts diminishing this measurement right here on the toe, right? It's going to start there. So that's why you want to make sure that you go straight back and forth. Run it over in your hand again, Jamie says. Hell no. Hell no. Jamie, thank you for swinging by, man. Definitely cannot do that. Dude, I need to figure out. There it is. I'll take that razor. Daddy's here. So Sharp David. What's up? Shout out Omar. Hi, man. Shout out the dude. If I do that now, it would not be good, right? But yeah, gents, that's how I set the bevel. Super easy to set the bevel. Now, here's a question that a lot of people ask is what Japanese stone can you use to set the bevel? And there are some Japanese stones that you can set the bevel. There are some natural stones that you can set bevels with. A Washita, Arkansas stone, you can set bevels with. A hard Arkansas stone, you can set bevels with. A Japanese a Jaina, Amakusa, you can set bevels with. Not all of them. The problem with the Japanese stones, the lower grit ones, they release a lot. Oh, how important it is so you keep the stone flat when you're flattening the stone. Oh, that's a good question. I'll answer that in a second. So yeah, so Amakusas are very grainy, and you can set the bevel. You just have to be very careful, and a lot of the times it's not even wise to use a slurry of that stone. Same with the Binsuis, and you can do Aotos. You can do that too. Now, oh, good question. So first, how important it is to keep the stones flat? Extremely important if you care about your razors, right? So what happens is if you don't keep them flat, you're gonna see geometry changes on your razors. If you use your stones for both kitchen and razors, you have to maintain them more because kitchen knives put a dip in the center. So when you are going, you are also, it's not good for your razors. It's not that important on knives. because of how you're moving it and everything. But that's why I have my kitchen knife hones and my razor hones. Um, Now, so yeah, it's super important to keep them flat. Now, it doesn't have to be like perfect flat, but trick to keep your stones flat. I just set a bevel on this. Before I put it up, what do? I clean it, and I clean it with my DMT. I do this. I rinse it, and I put it away. Right? Next time I'm going to home with it, it's clean. I erase the slurry on it, but I erase it in the entire surface, and it's always flat. I never have to. I never have to do the grip thing, other than at the beginning when I buy a stone. Now, can I tell the difference when if you're doing a progression? So let me make sure I get that question. Are you asking if you skip some stones? Like, let's say you go 1K, 4K, 12K. What's up, Benjamin? When you are, if you're doing synthetic progression, I recommend not going past like 4,000 grit differences in between stones. So I'm okay with doing 1,000, 4,000, 8,000, 12,000. Now, I would be a hypocrite to say that I do that all the time. I do go from 1,000, 4,000, 10,000, but my 10,000 cost me $350, and it cuts like a 6,000 with slurry, and it's insane, right? Not all stones can do that. Now, can I tell the difference? Yes, you can. Unless you spend a considerable amount of time on the higher stones, and you don't want to do that because stones on higher grit are more expensive. You don't want to wear them out. Like a 1K is a lot cheaper. This $10, $20. A Naniwa Superstone 12K or a finisher, they cost $120, $200, $300. You don't want to stay on a 12K wearing that stone down, right? The perfect example is woodworking. If you go from 50 grit sandpaper to a 1,000 grit, you can tell the difference. That you can still see the serrations that 50 grit left. You have to spend a lot more time on that. So you don't want that. You want to clean slowly. Just like getting a haircut. When you're doing a fade, you want to make sure that you go up in progression. That's my recommendation. The DMT question was, sorry, I don't know why my chat just goes away. All right. I need a DMT answer. Is the inexpensive DMT I can get? I recommend, if you're buying stones, Naniwas and Shaptons, try the sharpeningsupplies.com. If you're buying more than one stone, usually they'll make you a deal. I bought 3 stones. I call them, it's like, hey, I want to buy a set. You sell sets, but it's not the set that I want. And then they cut me 15% off, and actually gave me this holder for free. That was like 4 years ago. So the DMT 325, I think, runs about 65, $70. The Atomas are a little bit more expensive. I love my Chaucera 800. I can use to set my bevel. Yep. Chauceras are freaking awesome. Chauceras 800s are really good. The 1000 is really good. This one is like acclaimed by everybody. Everybody loves the Chaucera. There was a question there. The kitchen knives. My progression in kitchen knives. So it depends on the kitchen knives, and depending on the if I'm doing pocket knives. So if I'm doing a pocket knife, I don't like, for instance, this pocket knife. You see the edge? That's my edge on these stones. Um, and it's not shiny and it's not nothing. I usually end up like at 4K on a pocket knife because I want it toothy. On most pocket knives, I will do a Arkansas progression. I don't know why, but I like the Arkansas for pocket knives. But I set the bevel the same way and I test it the same way, right? Um, on kitchen knives, I do the same thing. When I set the bevel, I checked it the same way with my nail. And so on my kitchen knives, if they're my regular kitchen knives or my rotation on my kitchen, I will use a 1000 as well. I'll use a 1000 and a 4000, and I usually finish on a 6 to 8000, or I do a 1000 and I take it to a JNAT, finishing JNAT with a lot of slurry, depending on what kitchen knife I have. If it is a German kitchen knife, I don't put it in my JNATs. I don't know why. It doesn't really matter, but I like my Japanese knives to go into my Japanese stones. You buy me one, you the big spender. Now the DMTs, sorry about that. DMTs, I tell everybody the DMTs, they're a little pricey. But like I mentioned, for the people that just got here, I had this one for 5 years, man. They feel like they're worn and that you need to toss them, but it is not worn and you don't need to toss it. And even if you have, like I use even the backside for all kinds of things that I need something flat, right? Are these extremely flat? Probably not, but they are as flat as you're gonna get for that price. The Atomas are great too. I wouldn't use any of the Naniwa or Norton flattening stones, not for what we do, because the edges on these are super fragile. So if you are using one of those blue Naniwa or Norton ones that had the cuts in the center, they come in the kits. If you use those chunks, they stay sometimes on your stone, and then when you home, you ruin that edge, right? And this is going towards your face. You don't want anything like that. Now you can use it for like knives because you're not doing the same. It's not the same thing, right? The edge is not the same, right? The edge on a straight razor is like that. But that's what I have. I'm quitting honing. Oh man, no, don't quit, man. That's what I had. So it's too expensive. So if you guys didn't know, my very first set of stones, I bought a first workable set of stones. Was a 1000 King, 1000 King. I had the 6000 King, and I had the 12,000 CNAT, the Chinese natural stone. And I had that for a long time. And I'm telling you, I had great results. I had to learn how to hone with them, but I had great results. So, the Kings are about 20, 30 bucks. Same with the Naniwa traditionals, which are really, really good stones. And you can set bevels on that all day long. Now, the flattening stones, do not get like the Chapton flattening stones. Those are ridiculous. They're like $325. If you search for the DNT flattening stones, those are like 300 bucks. You just have to get the DMT DC8. You can get the 6. DC6, save some money. You cut in 2 inches. The Naniwa flattening is gotta throw that shit away now. But these are going to help you flattening. They're going to help you keep clean, the stone's clean, and you erase the slurry with it. Whip Dog Norton quarter stones and a C-Nut. Yeah, I remember. Jaime, I remember. Man, you know what? Those quarter stones are awesome. For the price, man, I wish he will still be doing those things. Because those quarter stones, for those that don't know, Whip Dog will cut a stone. So you will get a chunk about that big of a stone. So you get a 1,000 that size. For me, it's perfect. I love them. I will totally do a 1.5 by 4 inches all day in every single flavor. So I will buy the one, like a full Chocera set if they were all this size. Yes, yes, you can use DMTs on JNAF. Let me show you. Now, when you are using DMTs or an Atoma, you can look at Atomas. Atomas are great too. So make sure that you are rinsing her off really good. You don't want cross particles. So this is a Japanese natural stone. It's a Suita. Cobos, this used to be yours and I bought it back from you. Jaime, this was your stone. So I sold this stone to Jaime and then I had to buy it back. I love this stone. But I use it the same way. I keep the stone flat. What you don't want to do is leave it like that for a little bit and go get a Coke and come back, because look. Look at that. That's how you know it's flat. But you don't want to do that. You don't want to go like that because you can tear up like softer stones. But that's how I erase slurry on these. Drop some water in there. You have some slurry. Look at that. Jaime, I'm doing this so you can, for all good time's sake. This stone is awesome. Never selling it ever again. But yeah, guys. Now, honing is about 80-90% setting the bevel. Once you got the bevel set, everything else is easy. The hard part is setting the bevel. If you have the bevel set properly, everything else is easy. Do not, and I've done this in the past where I test, and I test with my nail, and another way you can test is just start cutting hair. I barely have any hair that you guys can see. But you start shaving some hair, right? If it is not throughout, all the way through, all that edge, cutting hair, passing the nail test, your bevel is not set. And if you're like, well, you know, it will get set on the 4K. Do not move from the 1K until that bevel is set, until you're cutting hair with zero issues. You're not forcing it, it's just popping them in every part of the blade, every single part of the blade. All of it has to be cutting, has to be equally sharpened, equally set. The bevel has to be equally set. If it is equally set, then everything else is just cleaning the serrations from the previous stone, and that's it. That's why I made this video. Setting the bevel is the most important part. The rest is easy. The rest is easy. If you set the bevel properly, you never have issues. If you skimp on the setting the bevel, that's why everybody says also buy a good bevel setter. If you skimp on it, if you don't set it right, and you're like, oh, I'll catch it on the 4K, you're not gonna get it right. It's not gonna look right. It's not gonna shave right. Robert, I see you're reviewing a lot of JNAS lately, but do you still use cauticles? By the way, you might remember me. Oh yeah, that glow was pretty cool. that I got from Spain. That was freaking cool. Um, yes, I do use other stones. The reason I've been doing a lot of J knots lately is because I was doing caracals quite a bit, like back to back, and then so me and my wife went on a trip to Japan, and then so I brought some J knots back, and I still haven't even finished lapping all the ones that I brought back, and that's why I've been doing a lot of J knots lately, and synthetics. I still have to do some synthetics that I have not reviewed yet. What else? Oh, nobody has asked if I use tape. So since nobody has asked, really quick, I don't want to take too much more longer. Tape. You can tape, but if you are taping, you just have to make sure that you understand what you're doing. If you tape the spine, a lot of the times if I'm honing for somebody else, I will tape the spine, set the bevel or almost get it set, and then take it off, right? No, J-knots are not cheaper in Japan. They're a little bit cheaper, but it's expensive to ship them nowadays. It costs, for a stone to be shipped this size from one of the guys that I know in Japan, it'll cost me $60 just to ship it. So if I save $30 buying it over there, I'm not saving much. J-knots are really expensive over there because they are used a lot for tools, not for razors, but for tools. So woodworkers, kitchen knife sharpeners, they all use them a lot. So yeah, so tape. I would like if you said if I'm honing for somebody, I will tape the spine, and if it is a nice, like I want to preserve it, I will go a little bit on it, then take the tape off and finish setting it up. Some people, and this works really well. You can set up the bevel with the tape, then take the tape off, and then go on the 4K, and you will merge, you will convene, you will come into that spot. The problem with that is that you are making your slowly, very slowly, but you're making your edge every time you hone go like this. You want it the more acute, not to the point that it breaks, but the more acute, the best. If it is obtuse like this, then it's not going to shape properly. So you're going to be changing the angle. That's why you don't do the spine tape. I do it sometimes, but if you do it, make sure that you know what you're doing is going to change that angle. And I'm going to show you right now, right here. This is a Japanese razor. Everybody loves this razor. This razor right here, if you have one, you might know that this razor has about 1/8 of an inch. Well, oh, it has a watermark there. It's 1/8 of an inch wider. That's the original one. So it is wider. So this razor was fixed before I bought it. Before it got to me, it had a dent, and somebody put tape and grind it. What happened was, now when you hone it, you don't get a shaving edge that is comfortable because my degrees are like 19, 20 degrees. So I had to fix the spine to match all that they chopped there, right? So this is a work in progress. It's been a work in progress for like 2 years now, and I haven't finished it. I just pull it from there. All right, guys. Any more questions before I wrap it up? This is the longest live thing I have ever done. I only done 2, but hey, guys, I have some brushes that came from Jaime. I'm gonna be doing a giveaway on brushes, on one brush, next month. So hopefully we can do one a month, one giveaway a month. Let's see if that can happen. If not, one every 2 months, depending on the success. So make sure that you subscribe, like video, leave comments on the videos, leave questions. I respond to every single comment. I will. I will try my best. If not, talk to me. Where can I find your store? So I used to have a store, an Etsy store, and I closed it. I closed it because it was a pain in the ass to maintain. I honestly couldn't maintain it any longer because I am in the military, so I move a lot. So we move. I temporarily closed it for the move, and then it's just maintaining it, taking pictures, and getting stock in, and it's just it was taking too much of my time. And I have other hobbies. If you peruse in my channel, you'll know I like riding my motorcycle, working on my cars, and then it was taking too long. So if you want a stone, I the stones that I usually present in my videos, I sell them. A lot of them, not all of them, but the video that came out today with the Karatsu, that stone already sold today. So somebody just message me in Facebook, or you can message me in Hibaro 1015 at gmail.com. And Hibaro is Jibaro 1015 at gmail.com. I'm gonna put in the description of this video. I might have a stone, I might not, but when I'm ready for a suku, can I hit you up? Yes, I actually might have one, and it's small, so it's good price. I like bringing copas. Copas are smaller stones, so I like bringing copas because I like everybody to be able to do this. It shouldn't be, you shouldn't have to get a $300 JNet to get a good edge. So you should be able to get a great edge with, a decent price stone. So, all right, everybody. If you have any questions, leave them in the comments below. I don't know if this video is going to, other than right now is airing, but if I can schedule it for next Wednesday, I will. I didn't mean to release 2 videos today. So whoever was live, you got it first, a week early. Thank you, everybody, for stopping by. Love you, and stay safe in this corona environment. Don't forget, subscribe, leave comments. Catch with you guys in the next one, all right? Thank you, everybody. Hi, man, look. From Texas. Later. I don't know how to turn this off.